two dogs. One is a puppy and one is about 8 years old. The puppy is the alpha, and the other one's afraid of him. Even though he's about 15 times bigger, he's afraid of this puppy. You see, it's innate. Who's the alpha? It's a vibration. It's written in your DNA. And it's the same with humans. And you don't think people are intimidated by you? If they can sense this, they are. And there's going to be discord at first, and you have to overcome it. That's part of the hero's path, is overcoming people being against you because they can sense your aura. I'll never forget Christmas time throughout my whole first 3 decades of life. My mother would panic 2 weeks before Christmas because, you see, the in-laws would come over. The only time she saw them was during Christmas season. And she would just be so upset and start to drink, because people drink over Christmas season. And she would just have tirades and brawls and fear and panic 2 weeks before every single year. And I never thought about it till just lately. She was fearful of I think the in-laws may have looked down on her. She was a farm girl from Wisconsin. They were part of a big pastoral family, evangelist from Canada, and I think they looked down on her. And she could sense it. And she was happy her whole year in solitude with my dad. But during Christmas season, what we had to go through with her was just awful. And finally, I understand it. So many years after her death, why she feared those weeks when all the nonverbal communication, 85% of communication is nonverbal, a raised eyebrow, it's posture, it's how they look away, how they, people show their disapproval in so many ways. And she was innately alpha herself, and she couldn't stand it. It's all nonverbal, and I understand it. She was somebody who just wanted solitude. A great example of social hypnosis can be seen in children. Before the laws changed regarding child sex abuse laws and patterns, they would accuse the parents of sexually abusing their own children by taking the children apart and just drilling them, and making them think that everybody thinks your parents sex abused you. The child says, no, that never happened. But after a while, the child, not knowing any better, thinks, well, gee, everybody said it happened. If everybody said it happened, then it happened. It doesn't matter what I think or what I don't remember. They go along with the herd. That's immature thinking. The childish brain just naturally thinks, well, if everybody said it, it's true. Think about that. The child said, yeah, they sex abused me, yeah. And the parents go to prison for life. When the child was just manipulated because he was told everybody said it. The child takes that for truth, no matter what their own senses say, that it didn't happen. Social hypnotism is a mark of immature thinking. You have to have your own thoughts independent of the herd around you. But that's a mature person, and they are very rare. There's 2 ways of getting wisdom. Through reading books, 50 books a year, 100 books a year, or through decades of suffering. Yes, suffering. Suffering in a jail cell, suffering in a concentration camp, suffering through abusive relationships for decades. That can teach you wisdom. And that's one way of dealing with the awful memories. I have it too. Decades of trying to overcome people around me who thought completely differently from me and who were judging me for it. It was so awful to overcome all that. That was suffering. Suffering through abusive relationships, put down relationships with men and women. That was suffering, but that brought me wisdom. So that's one way of dealing with your memories. Thank God for it. Because of your enemies, you achieve success. I'm going to tell you something you may not know, and I'm going to be very blunt. This is like rape culture. If a girl is drunk, or if she lacks boundaries, she'll be raped. But nobody says it's rape. And if she's immature, she thinks, I don't know why I did it. And everybody blames her for being a slut. She may lose her marriage because she had sex, just promiscuously. It was because she was invaded and she was weak. She lacked boundaries. That brings implosion of morality, and she doesn't even know what she's doing. If a woman is drunk, she'll be raped. And of course, if you're raped, you're in a blackout, you didn't know what you were doing, but she'll be blamed forever for being a slut. It's the same thing whether it's the Middle East or here. The woman is blamed. And she literally didn't know. And people will say, well, that's just an excuse that you were drinking. It's not an excuse. It's an explanation. People are going to a blackout, and if they don't have firm boundaries, it's a psychological fact that they will be invaded, imposed upon like that. And yes, it's her fault for not stopping it. But looking at it in a deeper sense, it really isn't. That's how important boundaries are, to keep men off a woman. It's rape culture. And many women go through their entire life thinking they did it, thinking they were promiscuous, thinking they were a slut, thinking they were immoral, when really they were just weak. And really, it's no excuse because you should be strong. You should have strong boundaries. But how many of us had this explained to us by our parents, the importance of boundaries? How many young girls are taken aside by their fathers or mothers in this day and age and explained about boundaries? Because it's a social culture, we're told to just love everybody and have a lot of friends and go out and be convivial and social. And when these things happen, does anybody say, well, she lacked boundaries, or she had too much to drink, so she was raped? Does anyone blame the rapist? No, they blame the girl. Her whole life she may blame herself, until she's old and she thinks, you know, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have strong boundaries, so they just took me. It really wasn't my fault. A woman doesn't have a strong fence. She'll be raped and blamed for it. And nobody will ever call it rape. For her to call it rape, she'd have to get so involved with the police, who will blame her. She might have to face the revenge of the boy for accusing him, and that would mean violence in this generation. It's just too much. So what does she do? She goes into denial about it. She forgets all about it. But it was rape. She didn't know what happened. All she knows is the man entered her. That's all she knows. It happened so quickly. It happened so quickly, and she's blamed. What is the result of this? Her going inside and denying it and just going on with life. A sense of hopelessness takes over her personality. Plus, she's being called a slut by everybody. Plus, it attracts other men to use her, since men talk and her reputation goes way down. Life can be hell when you're young in this kind of generation, where there is no morality, where sexual promiscuity predominates, serial fornication relationships. Life is very tough being young. until you overcome this. Maybe not even in middle age. Life becomes dull, a sense of subnormal hopelessness in the brain. It's very sad. That's how important sexual morality is. Without it, mental illness sets in. When God took me from a cabin to a mansion, after 26 years in a tiny dusty cabin, commuting 6 miles to the store on a bike, living all alone on 1,000 acres, having to overcome fear of the dark, fear of being alone, fear of monsters, having to overcome people invading me, having to overcome the need for outer validation and just coming inside, I finally saw why all those doors had to shut. I finally saw why I had to wait, because something so much better God was going to give me. Had this happened before then, I would have made terrible decisions. Had my windfall happened before then, I would have bought a home in the desert, which is now running out of water. Everybody has to relocate. So where I lived, there's no water. And I would have been surrounded by liberals who hated me for my conservative views, who bombed my mailbox, who spread gossip about me. But I would have bought a house there instead of relocating to a conservative district that makes me so happy, of religious people who mind their own business. Nobody's gossiping about me. Everybody's just ingrown in their own households. Nobody even cares what somebody else is doing. Liberal towns are gossip towns, officious busybodies. And that's why I had to wait. And everything worked out perfectly time-wise. God is no magician, he's a scientist. He sees the flow, we don't. He sees things we don't. And it came just at the right time when I knew I was going to leave California and move, and then I got the money, the money bag, and I moved and everything worked out perfectly. God owns time, and it's miraculous. It's pure synchronicity. Then that peace, what is peace? Peace is not the absence of problems, because we'll always have it on planet Earth. Peace is the presence of God in the midst of them. Peace is learning to relax and just rely on Him, and He fights our battles, because there's going to be battles, especially if you're a Christian. As Jesus said, they hated me before they hated you. And they will hate you, because it's the devil in them that hates God in you. Resting in God is not weakness. It's power. But it will look like weakness to them. People around you, they're impatient. People around Jesus, they were impatient. They wanted Him to show His miraculous power. And He said, my time has not come yet. The people around you are impatient. Don't allow them to push you to act before the right time. You got a fence around yourself. You're with God. When the right time comes, you will know it. Don't allow people to push you. Follow my protocol. Fruit, leaves, nuts, and seeds. Have your fruit, leaves, and seeds in the form of tahini and your smoothie. Have nuts at your desk and dried fruit. Very, very simple. You will go from a couch potato, lazily snacking on chips, to raring to go for your goals and working towards them, and fasting during the day, and transcending society, and becoming your own true self, your own true genius. Your whole life will change. That snacking thing and running off to fast food, living on that crap, and being surrounded by people that are constant distractions from your goal. You go from that to way on top of the ladder. and you'll be so much better. The diet, it's highly detoxifying. Fruit, greens, nuts, and seeds. Your whole body and every cell will empty of all the previous toxins. You're going to feel tired as that stuff goes through the bloodstream. It lodges from the cell wall, goes through the bloodstream to go out, and while it's in the bloodstream, you're tired. You feel like you could sleep a week. And on days when you're especially tired, the next day you will notice colon evacuation like mad. It came to the bloodstream to go out. You'll have several days of this, but it's a good thing because you're going to feel like $1,000,000 when it's over. The Middle East lives on olives, olive oil and olives, all through Italy. It's just olive trees, beautiful olive trees. Olives are a fruit. I like the black olives, but I also like the green olives with garlic stuffed. It's delicious. Garlic is also very cleansing. I recommend olives, and they are high in fat, but we're eating high-fat fruits. You see, most fruitarianism talks about the sweet fruits, sweet, juicy fruits. But I recommend, let's look into the non-sweet fruits. The squashes, zucchini, eggplant, anything with a seed is a fruit. Tomato and olives and a little olive oil. Just use olive oil for your cooking. And, you know, it's a nice snack. I don't like meals. I want a snack, a low calorie, just 1 or 2 olives. That's it. Just a snack. And you'll see that that satiates for several hours. You don't have to have a meal. I really love Ramadan fasting, which is eating during night. During the day, you eat the sun. I don't eat dinner. This is Ramadan fasting without dinner. You eat before dawn. And then during the day, it's all over. You have it in your head. I don't eat during the day. I live off the sun during the day. I do my work. I express myself. All the energy is in the head, not down in the gut. Today I had my smoothie, which was greens and mango and blueberries and tahini, which is sesame seed paste, a little nut butter, and it was delicious. And then I had a little popcorn. Sometimes I do that. Corn is a fruit, remember? And some nuts. And then it became daylight. And I was ready to go for the whole day. And now before I know it, it'll be night. Because I am so creative, the day just flies by. But if I were down in the gut digesting, it wouldn't be that way. I've come upon the medieval sleep patterns. I read about it in Wikipedia. In medieval times, people would sleep until about midnight, get up for a couple hours of study or meditation or prayer, and go back and have a cat nap from about 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. That's what I've been doing. Just going to sleep around 8 at night. I have early nights. Getting up around midnight, studying until about 4 a.m., having a cat nap, starting my day. It's working real well. Your sleep time's going to change. When you start to find yourself, you might find yourself existing on cat naps. I once read that great geniuses did that. They didn't sleep like 8 hours at night. They'd have a couple cat naps during the day and just work all night. Working all night makes sense to me. There's no distractions. The herd is sleeping. It's just you and God. I've always loved it. Just working all night long. And I once read that it's a sign of genius. Just to be separate. That's one way we can separate from the world, is through changing our sleep times and being awake when they're asleep. Being asleep when they're awake. Separate.